Ice Queen. Toya stretched out on the massage table and stuck her face inside the donut hole at the front. She could not wait for Max to get started on her full-body massage. It had been a whole 2 weeks since her last one, and she was fiending, especially after the unexpected and unwanted phone call she got the other day. She needed Max more than ever right now. Toya's time on the massage table was her chance to relax, think things through, and clear her mind of all the negativity she dealt with each week. As a professional, single, career-minded Black woman, she had her share of bad days. Still, she wouldn't have traded her life for that of any other woman. Toya knew she was a bad bitch, and often referred to herself that way. Camille had asked her the other day why she used the word bitch so often and pronounced it with so much venom. "'Cause you have to let a bitch know that you mean what you're saying, bitch." They laughed about it, but in actuality, Toya really didn't care who disapproved. She didn't take anybody's bullshit. She didn't hesitate to speak her mind. She was confident, a bit conceited, and convinced that there was no badder bitch on the planet than LaToya Blake. She had, however, been shaken to the core by the phone call she'd received the other night. She shrugged away the thought of it, shuddering just a little at the memory of his disgusting voice in her ear. Finally, Max came in to start the massage. She closed her eyes as he pointed out that she was feeling tense in the shoulders again. She hadn't always been so tough. Like any typical little girl, she had enjoyed her dolls and dressing up in her mother's clothes. She grew up with 4 brothers, and she was the only girl. That was what made her strong. Toya was ridiculed and teased so often that it seemed like they took turns making her cry. But then she realized that her crying only gave her brothers more satisfaction. She developed a thick skin and began to hone her verbal skills by tearing her brothers apart with her words. When they called her ugly, she called them faggots. When they made fun of her hairstyles, she made fun of their cheap sneakers. Times were hard back then, and this was their entertainment. With 5 kids to raise, a no-good, alcoholic husband, and the mean streets of Brooklyn waiting to eat her alive, Toya's mother held things together as best she could. Mrs. Blake was college-educated, as were all the elders in her family. But she'd fallen for a smooth talker, gotten married, and had a whole bunch of his babies. Her teaching job didn't pay much, and her husband, Nathaniel, never kept a job. The tough economic situations of the 80s only magnified the misery in their household even more. For entertainment, Toya talked shit, while her brothers played pranks on her. One time they told her to turn the light on in the bathroom. When she pulled the string, a dead mouse was hanging from it. They laughed as she screamed and cried, and she was distraught for a long time. But that night, she lay in bed, plotting her revenge. The next morning, she put dead roaches in all of their cereal bowls and waited until her eldest brother, the one who had urged her the strongest to turn on the bathroom light, had shoved a whole spoonful into his mouth before she spoke up. He spit it out all over the kitchen table, the floor, and his brothers. Toya got her ass beat for that one, but she learned to hold her own and eventually became so adept at giving her brothers a taste of their own medicine that she earned their respect. This only emboldened her, giving her the cockiness she needed to pick fights at school and in their neighborhood. Soon she became known as the loudmouth chick that all the guys respected and all the other chicks were afraid of.